Well, thanks. We're up, of course, late today because at 12:30 we were listening to the budget speech. Actually, we had finished the budget speech by then.
Yeah.
But interesting. I'm Niraj Shah, of course. With me is Puneet, and Sajeet or Harsh would be joining us in a bit as well. A lot of action in the newsroom today. You know the standout moment for me, Puneet, today. The budget speech was on. We were in the studio with the guests, and the tax changes got announced. And the whole newsroom burst out with a loud cheer, right?
Yes.
That just sums it up. I think the cheer would have been heard across, and independent of what the markets have done today. I do think there's a bit of a overreaction. And we'll of course talk about that. But I think independent of whatever happens, it's the middle class was hurting. The taxpayer was hurting. This easy, Sajeet, no problem. We know that you are very happy. Don't do anything to my spectacles, please.
Yes, I am happy because, as I said, there would be increase in tax.
You know, Sajeet loves proving he's right wherein he's not. Because he had said it will go up from 7 to 15. I had said 7 to 10.
I said
it has come in 12. Please tell me, 12 is closer to 10 or to 15?
I'm gonna say nothing.
Mathematics here.
Mathematically,
12 is closer to 10?
Yes, but why didn't any of you all have the bet key? It'll be in the middle as well, because logically, possibly.
I mean, we just picked up a random number, to be honest. But anyways, we were coming to this, that the cheer that we heard in the newsroom is a cheer that would have gone across the country, if you will. I think this is, I mean, it is not a routine small 50,000 idhar, 60,000 idhar and stuff like that. This is a serious
1 lakh crore in consumption boost, which is coming in, and most of it would be in by the middle class tax paying, which are urban and centric. So your autos,
We're seeing Maruti being the top gainer.
Maruti being the top gainer. You have FMCG.
But this is heartening, Sajeet, that it is the taxpayer who's been given the rebate.
For
the taxpayer has been the taxpayer has been struggling, right?
Since 1997, when Sitharaman raised the peak rate he brought down the rate from 40 to 30%. This is the first time it's happening that rates have been tinkered. Meaningfully. It's not a I'm not saying I shouldn't use the word tinkering, but there has been recalibrated downwards so that you have more money in the hands.
And this is a big thing, right? Because everybody, the memes going all around, all through every single day is that,
I can see one meme.
Ye freebie ja raha hai, I'm funding it. Ye freebie ja raha hai, I'm funding it. I do not get anything for it.
I can see one meme tomorrow or by end of the year, Mahalakshmi का fake आने वाला है. मोदी जी ने जैसे बोला था कि महालक्ष्मी को मैं बोलता हूँ मिडिल क्लास को देने के लिए, अब हमें पता है महालक्ष्मी कौन है आज के डेट में.
This is a big one. This is a good one and it's a big one. Now, very quickly, and Puneet, I don't know what your individual thoughts are, but of course ask Puneet about this is a big one for autos, right? So actually, should we do that first? And then we come to the real estate, the budgeted estimate for the fiscal deficit as well. Very quickly, but autos, chalo.
But autos, specifically because I think the entry-level cars were hurt after the BS6 transition. It became too expensive, and people's salary didn't go as much to afford that kind of entry-level car. So the Alto has become from 2.5 to 5 lakh rupees now. So as the WagonR, and I think this will give that big boost. I think two-wheeler companies also will get massively benefited by it. We are seeing that premiumization in two-wheelers, that it's gone to 2.5, 3 lakh, 4 lakh now for a bike. And we did see a lot of demand for that because the entry-level cars had moved up. But I feel like, this could be a big pivot for Hero as well. Anyway, the consumption was happening, but I think the entry-level cars will get benefited massively. I think Maruti biggest gainer, I think, was in this time.
I should look at from a point of view of financing, right?
Yes.
Entry-level car will have a financing cost of 3,500 to 5,000 rupees per month. For up to 7 years. This kind of boost which has come in, it brings in additional that amount for that salary class up to 12 lakhs. And they can look at, and if they want to, they can look at a entry-level car in that sense. So that's a good thing because the affordability of that car, which had gone off because of the inflation and many other issues, which it's coming back in some way in this, right?
But I wanted to ask you, because you've tracked the sector more than me, do you think that people will go out and look for, increase their average selling prices, go for the higher car as well? Those who were looking at entry-level cars, do you think that the 7, 8, 9 lakh bracket will also go and increase the prices now?
There is certainly going to be a calibration. Means मैं अभी अगर 7 लाख तक देख रहा था और अगर मेरा EMI 5,000, आई एम गेटिंग एडिशनल कैश ऑफ 5,000 I can look at up to 10 or 11,000 11 lakh car or something, right? तो वो जो mid segment है
yes.
उसको भी
so that compact SUV gets a big boost again.
Boost actually, M&M, Maruti, Kia, Hyundai में
I mean they have Venue and Exter, so those two, and I think Hyundai has been lagging here. Yes,
and
definitely.
MG I think EV will get a boost,
big boost, yes.
because अभी 5,000 अपने extra दे दिए हाथ में, तो I can look at EV also. Simple.
I think other thing will be consumption stocks. I think if you want to add on HUL, Marico, we've been lagging.
Just look at the whole gainers list today.
Yeah.
From a Sapphire Foods to Trent.
All the QSR players.
QSRs, malls, Phoenix Mills, retail, everything is done well. Because this is it.
Yeah.
I think the premise was that the government tried its hand at doing large capex and seeing if the private sector will follow. That hasn't happened, and it hurt consumption.
Yes.
So now the government has said, by the way, there's a very interesting thing that I want to mention here. That one that the government has helped consumption now. Also on capex, by the way, they have done a 40% increase on the gains condition. I mean, I don't know the exact term for this, but the conditional benefits that will be provided for capital creation by domestic companies. So if a company, I'm guessing this would come under the ambit of PLI, but there's a 40% increase there, whether PLI or otherwise, on the number, that if this were to happen, if companies were to create capacity, then we will give you the benefits. That number from FY25 to FY26 is up by 40%, which would mean that the government is now telling the private sector that I've done enough of the capex, I'll still do a little bit. But if you want incremental benefits, here's where I'm providing you the benefit. That come in, set up capacity, we'll give you benefit.
You know, मैं जिस तरह से capex number को read कर रहा हूँ.
There are questions, by the way.
We were talking about 10.5 lakh crore for FY25. It has come down to 10.18, which basically means that, you know, even though the December numbers have been good, you know, I was looking at your internal defense December numbers are very good for capex, but it's not going to be more than 10.18 lakh crores, which basically means that, you know, there's another boost that has to be done by the government, and 11.2 is almost at par with what estimate was, right?
Yes.
It means it's not. I don't know whether they will meet that or not, but I thought it's little lower than expected. I was expecting ये 10.1% के आसपास आया है, 10.2% के आसपास आया है. मेरे को लगा 12 से 15% होता तो you know that would have been much better, but I think they are working on a very tight leash here, because 4.4% fiscal deficit target when every street was expecting 4.5%.
No, which is what they had given.
Yes,
4.5 was given. Any chance? A lot of questions, Sajeet.
इसमें एक और चीज मुझे जो करना है,
अपने पास 11 मिनट है.
और मैं ये बता रहा था कि नॉमिनल जीडीपी आपका 10.1% आया है, और इन लोगों ने जो टैक्स रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ देखा है वो 10.8%, which is very conservative. When they are not.
Repeat, sorry, very quickly. हिंदी में समझाओ.
नॉमिनल जीडीपी जो पूरा ग्रोथ हो रहा है वो 10.1%.
नॉमिनल जीडीपी viewers, real GDP plus inflation.
Simple. इन्होंने जो टैक्स ग्रोथ देखा है वो 10.8% है. So it's almost 1:1, which is there. It's not a multiplier they have put. Normally
which is very nice. So
conservative है वो.
Nice,
conservative है वो है.
Okay. So, okay, now very quickly questions. So Lilliput, I'll come to your question as well in a moment. But there is a question from SM. Puneet, it's a hypothesis. Why is Dixon falling? Isn't the budget in favor of the stock or the sector?
Yes, so I think two measures for the EMS players. One is that there's a increase in the basic duty of interactive flat panel display. Basically, it's gone from 10 to 20. It benefits players like Dixon Tech and PG because imports get reduced, local people get manufactured. And the second thing is duty on parts of open display get to zero. वो पहले 2.5% था, अभी 0 हो गया पहले 5 तक जुलाई में. And Dixon is setting up a plant for open display. This goes in television, so Dixon is a beneficiary. But I think, which we discussed, कि the PLI of electronic components expected to come hasn't come in this particular budget. But I think
24,000 कुछ बोल रहे थे.
25,000 crores were expected. Industry had demanded 40,000 crores. That has not come. But the management spoke to us on NDTV Profit that they expect and they are fairly certain that this is coming. For sure.
Budget में नहीं आया,
budget में नहीं आया, but he is expecting it to come fairly certain and fairly quick also. He is not saying कि वो अगले साल 26 में आएगा ऐसा कुछ नहीं. He was fairly certain, and this is the word, fairly certain, which I think, and this is Atul Lal. He knows the EMS sector as no one else. So that could be something, but I think that's one of the key negatives. I think that it's not come, and that's the main across absence of PLI. I think we've seen that across sectors, but I think EMS, because the number was already out, what is the expectation? I think that's one of the key negatives.
Yeah.
But I will say the AC players might get benefited also because of this 12 lakh, basic income.
Yes, so consumption
voltas, but also the EMS, so Amber, PG Electroplast, who manufacture these AC, EPAC, Durable, all of those stocks are doing actually well in trade. Dixon is getting negatively impacted, but these stocks are actually doing well as well. So expecting some future orders from the AC players going forward as well.
Okay.
Some of the gas players are impacted because of this propane gas which is there. Because Morbi में use होता है तो import कम कर दिया, duties कम कर दिए. So domestic players will have to reduce the prices. In that sense, which is there.
Thank you for that information. There's another question, by the way, and that is on why insurance stocks are down.
Okay.
Now, I have a thesis too. Very quickly mention.
ULIP में major hit हुआ है basically. 2021 में they had brought in a capital gains regime जिसमें अगर आपने 5 लाख से ज़्यादा किया है तो रिडम्पशन के वक्त आपको कैपिटल गेन देना पड़ता था. उसको रिड्यूस करके 2.5 लाख कर दिया विद रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट फ्रॉम FY21, विच बेसिकली मीन्स आपने 2.5 लाख के ऊपर प्रीमियम भरा है और आपने रिडीम किया है, और यूलिप में लॉक इन 5 साल का होता है. सो 5 साल के बाद जब आप रिडीम करेंगे तो आपको 2.5 लाख के ऊपर जितना भी अमाउंट है उस पर आपको कैपिटल गेन देना पड़ेगा. तो वो पहले 5 लाख था, अब वो 2.5 लाख कर दिया है. सो वो इम्पैक्ट है जिसकी वजह से इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज में हिट होगा.
कुड देयर बी वन मोर रीजन आल्सो दैट पहले इंश्योरेंस में इनफ इन्वेस्टमेंट और द exemption limits being taken higher to 12 lakhs now, right? Does that in any way impact a person's desire to investment to save tax?
नहीं, वो उतना होने वाला नहीं है ना, because I'll tell you why. Because 12 lakhs के नीचे जो हुआ करता था ओल्ड टैक्स रेजिम में होते थे लोग. अभी 12 lakhs तक जो 12 lakhs का नया वो न्यू टैक्स रेजिम में है, तो जो ऑलरेडी न्यू में है उनको कोई प्रॉब्लम फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. पर जो लोग ओल्ड में हैं किसी भी इंसेंटिव वगैरह की वजह से, नाउ दे विल ऑटोमेटिकली, सो
you are saying they'll move to the new tax regime
and insurance as a tax product will come down.
Exactly, but that is also
a volume.
That used to be a decent one, right?
Q4 is a quarter for them.
Yeah.
So this would be the last quarter where you will see some insurance companies getting high volumes, and later on now they have to push for as a product rather than as a
Something
tax
else.
product.
You reckon a lot of people will move to the new tax regime?
Incentive ही नहीं है.
Incentive ही नहीं है. ठीक है, चलो. Okay, income tax cut will impact which sector and stocks? Lilliput, your question is this. Well, I think the answer is consumption. I mean, दारू से लेके दवाई तो नहीं बोलूँगा, but दारू से लेके खाने पीने every stock चखने तक. हाँ, दारू से लेके चखने तक. Everything is doing so well, right? So that's your answer, really. Everything is done well. Just one thing, I made this observation. July 2022, HUL was at 2,500 rupees, 2,500. It is at 2,500 today. So these stocks, a lot of them haven't gone anywhere in the last 2-3 years. Doesn't mean that they will therefore rally, but their value, they have not really expanded in valuations, and now there is a bit of a trigger that is coming in. Therefore, it may not be necessary that this is only today's move. This may well go on for the next.
I think this could be the year of FMCG back. FY22 में FMCG was one of the most brightest sectors. मतलब top 2 or 3 में था in terms of return. अभी again this could be the year when FMCG comes back into play.
This could also be the year of FMCG for another reason. FMCG in banks, large caps. FI money, whenever it comes in, will go to large caps. And large cap stocks will rally. They will go to FMCG because now there is a fundamental trigger. 1 lakh crore आपने बोला है.
So therefore FIs will come back also very quickly because of this. अभी तक तो आया नहीं है.
वो थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा, पर पैसा आएगा.
देखो, मुझे लग रहा है
आएगा तब लार्ज कैप.
FI का पैसा लार्ज कैप में आएगा. मुझे लग रहा है FI का पैसा might well be a factor of what happens on Feb 7th. When the monetary policy action, if any, comes about. Sajeet, मेरी bet है. So
कॉफी की bet है.
कॉफी पे चर्चा.
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि तब Feb 7 तक तो बस छूट जाएगी FIs के लिए. 4 दिन में अगर स्टॉक भाग गए तो आप कब आ रहे ऊपर तक चले गए स्टॉक.
Yeah, that's true. But it'll be interesting because that's why I think banks also, and Parag Takramit is very interesting point. PSU banks, boss, you never know. FIs may come into PSU banks as well.
Yeah.
Hitherto they haven't. But the cycle this time around is different for PSU banks because NPAs नहीं है.
Correct.
NPAs नहीं है.
Yeah.
और private banks के लिए जो unsecured या high yielding discretionary वाला जो segment था, that is not yielding results. Okay, anyways, very quickly, why are defense stocks falling? Also, why is the broader market in red? Simple, I mean, one that by large caps probably be in favor and defense वाला
but defense में 1.8 lakh crore का capital outlay है. तो मतलब FY26 में they are saying that कि their orders what इतना तो जाएगा ही जाएगा defense companies को, and that's going to be something to look out for, especially companies which are in the एयर सिस्टम्स एंड दी नेवल सिस्टम्स में जो है, क्योंकि वहाँ पर सबसे ज़्यादा ऑर्डर्स जाएंगे अगले 1 या 2 साल में. दैट्स व्हाट एनालिस्ट्स आर have pegged in, because these are the kind of orders which are coming in.
We need to wrap up.
हाँ, but एक दो sectors
you have
जो बात
30 seconds.
Communication revenues have been lower at 82,000, but it's still factoring in AGR. So मतलब AGR का भी जो डिसीजन है वो बजट में आया नहीं है. So आपके वोडाफोन हो गया, भारती हो गया, they will have to wait for a cabinet approval before this can be done. Shipbuilding में there's a lot of incentive which has come in, which basically means that your new companies like Swan Defense जो है अभी लिस्ट हुआ है उसके लिए अच्छा है, और बाकी जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर शिपिंग कंपनी शिपयार्ड्स हैं उनके लिए भी अच्छा है. So that's something which is
so not a very hot market, but there is a viewer called the Pista Media. He's saying that Puneet looks hot. So well, Puneet, you have a fan.
Puneet is already looking pink now.
Are you glad?
Well, that's the end to this particular live session.
Thank you so much all joining in, and please join in at 2:30 to 3:30. A lot of very stock specific conversation on the channel. So if you want more stock specific ideas, please log on to the channel. 2:30 to 3:30 will give you all the information.